The Mediterranean storm arrived without warning, turning the ancient fishing village into a theater of wind and water. Rain hammered the terracotta rooftops like angry fists, and the sea below churned black as spilled wine. In houses built from stone and stubbornness, the villagers waited for dawn. None knew that by morning their patriarch would be dead, floating in wine-dark water that tasted of secrets. Giuseppe Costa's villa perched like a crown above the harbor, its windows glowing amber against the storm. Inside, his 3 children had gathered, not by invitation, but by desperation. Marco paced near the fireplace, his gambling debts a weight that bent his shoulders. Lucia sat rigid in her chair, divorce papers scattered like accusations on the side table. Antonio stood at the rain-streaked window, sketching storm clouds while calculating the price of freedom. Dawn broke grey and unforgiving. The storm had passed, leaving puddles like mirrors reflecting a changed world. It was Lucia who found him, descending to the wine cellar for Giuseppe's morning ritual. The ancient stone chamber had flooded, bottles floating like dark omens. And there, face down among his prized vintages, floated the body of Giuseppe Costa. The water around him was crystal clear, rainwater from the storm, but the water in his lungs would tell a different story entirely. Detective Rossi arrived from Salerno with the morning ferry, his practiced eyes already cataloguing details. The storm had washed away footprints, but not motives. He gathered the family in Giuseppe's study, where maritime charts covered the walls like dreams of conquest. Each face told a story of need: Marco's sweating palms, Lucia's white knuckles, Antonio's darting glances. Outside, the village priest hurried past the window, rosary beads clicking against his trembling hands. The interrogations began like confession without absolution. Marco's gambling debts to Neapolitan sharks, Lucia's custody battle draining her savings like a wound, Antonio's gallery dreams requiring the sale of boats older than the village itself. But it was the beautiful stranger from Rome who intrigued Rossi most. Isabella Romano had checked into the pension a week ago, asking too many questions about Giuseppe's past. Her story of writing travel articles felt thin as morning mist. Dr. Mancini's autopsy report arrived with the evening tide. Giuseppe had drowned, but not in rainwater. His lungs were full of seawater, thick with salt and microscopic sea life. The wine cellar had flooded with fresh rainwater from the storm, crystal clear and pure. Someone had drowned Giuseppe Costa in the Mediterranean, then moved his body to the cellar. The killer had been clever, but the sea never lies. It leaves its signature in every drop. Marco's panicked confession came at midnight, rain beginning to fall again like an echo of the fatal storm. He claimed he had pushed his father in anger during their argument about the debts, but his hands shook with more than guilt. They trembled with relief. A man drowning his father in rage tells a certain kind of lie. Marco's story was too neat, too convenient. He was protecting someone, or perhaps everyone was protecting him, from a truth far darker than patricide. Rossi summoned them all to the villa as thunder rolled in from the sea, a storm's encore. The family, the priest, the mysterious Isabella, and old Salvatore Grimaldi, Giuseppe's lifelong rival, hunched and bitter. They sat around the same table where Giuseppe had made his final business decisions, their faces lit by candlelight and suspicion. The detective's words fell like raindrops, each one gathering weight. Someone in this room had lured Giuseppe to the harbor. Someone had watched him drown. Someone had carried his body home. Isabella Romano's real name was Isabella Costa, Giuseppe's daughter from a youthful affair in Rome, abandoned and forgotten. She had come seeking acknowledgement, inheritance, legitimacy. But Giuseppe had laughed, called her a fraud seeking money. In the storm's fury, by the harbor, she had struck him with a boat hook. He fell into the churning sea, and the Mediterranean claimed him. But guilt drove her to drag his body to the wine cellar, staging an accident. She hadn't known about the saltwater signature, the sea's testimony written in his lungs. The Carabinieri took Isabella away in handcuffs as the second storm spent its fury against the ancient stones. The Costa children inherited their father's empire, but the taste of betrayal lingered longer than wine. Father Benedetto held a mass for Giuseppe's soul, praying for forgiveness for secrets kept too long. The village returned to its rhythms of tide and time, but on stormy nights, when rain hammers the terracotta rooftops, the older fishermen still whisper about the patriarch who drowned in wine-dark water, and the daughter who came home too late for love, too soon for mercy.